You are alive now to change the world, as are we all, because we all come into the world whenever we might be born, but we come in to change. And we do that by becoming who we're meant to be. That means our authentic selves. And sometimes that can be really challenging. And it's been incredibly challenging for many of us over the last several years because our planet is changing as well. And that's why it looks a little bit chaotic. And I've been talking about this for a while now, but I wanted to really bring it to everyone's attention now because there's a lot of energy happening that could be a little disruptive or frightening if we don't understand what's happening. When I began talking about this more than 3 years ago, I said we were going to go through a major change in our world, a restructuring. And so we can only do that when we are willing to look at what we've done in our own lives and what kind of energy we're putting into the world. Because, see, we each come in with different life paths we're supposed to follow. And sometimes they're complicated, they're challenging, or we have difficulties or failures or things like that. They all have value. And when we can understand the value of whatever experience that we have moved through, whatever we've done, then we're becoming our authentic selves. Now, some people may not move through that at all. Some people may come into the world and know exactly where they're supposed to be and start living that life. Doesn't happen very often. We usually make all kinds of different stops along the way until we get to where we're supposed to be. That's what I did my entire life. I moved through so many challenging things, but I discovered that mindset was the most important. You can only consider who you're supposed to be when you use your consciousness, your mind to access that information. And it always evolves as you live. But again, we may get stuck. And I got stuck a lot of times along the way, but I became determined to give something back to others where that would never happen again. And 2021, when I first started talking about the work that I was doing, my program, because I shifted because I knew where the world would be moving. Yes, I'm a mystic, I'm a sage, I intuitive, and I've received this information. And so I shifted my entire life to give people more help because I knew what might be happening. We create our lives and the world exactly the same way, energetically. So if we're having feelings of hatred and anger and all the old stuff, which we might have because we bring in those things from our other lives, let's say our ancestors or whatever might have gone on for us. So when we bring that in, and if we're not moving through that, then collectively we're creating a world that we don't want. And that's been the work that I'm talking about for the last few years, because we see a lot of hatred, we see a lot of anger. We had wars going on. People are starved. A lot of things are happening. But again, everything changes energetically, meaning if we are loving who we are, moving through our blocks, because we all have them. I had more than most people. But when we decide to move through them, we experience a different level of consciousness, awareness, and then we start to create different lives for ourselves, and we do the same for the world. And that's what's happening now. But we do have a bit more to move through, which is why I'm still continuing my work for quite a while, because I'm not stopping with this. All I'm doing is bringing in more people who can bring more value to everything that I'm doing, because we're supposed to be collaborating. We're supposed to be coming together. We're supposed to be creating more unity for ourselves and in the world. That's what's going on. And so that's what I meant about you are live now to help change the world. And you will do that by deciding to become happy. There's there's no greater thing that you could possibly do than to become happy, meaning moving through all the old stuff. This period and this change in our world means we're supposed to let go of all the old ways of doing things, which you see happening all around. That is occurring. It's occurring globally as well. So when we move through more of that within ourselves, and that's the only work that I'm doing, is helping everyone that I can move through some limitation to get to the next level of who they're meant to be, because it's never done. As long as we're alive, there's always more that we can do. But just understand it's going to be about the energy that you're putting into your life and the energy you're allowing the world to accept from you. And again, my whole premise is this, and my work it only is about this. Every single person is born with worth and value. It's not possible for that not to have happened. sometimes we don't know how to move through the limitations and the blockages. And that's what I help people do, is to move through those limitations and blockages, because I've had them all. But fortunately, when the work that I received and what I was able to use to transform, I give that back to others. But just know that what is happening in the world is helpful. It's causing you to move in some particular way, to start to own who you are and love yourself. And then that's how you will help change our world. All right, you guys, have a good one. See you soon.